Unfortunately, with tree planting in this country, over the last 40, 50 years, it's not working. And I've seen over 30 years in my lifetime of experience that we've failed to establish a successional generation of trees, to proactively manage our existing trees that are drawing down the carbon and providing all these benefits that we're saying are so essential. I feel that we need to stop talking about tree planting, we should be talking about tree establishment, which is a completely different process. Currently, up to sort of 35% of trees we plant each year will fail, and that is not a sustainable process. If you think about the whole process of producing those trees, getting those trees to site, planting the trees, if they then die, you're actually increasing your carbon footprint through tree planting, and this is happening daily. I mean, offsetting through tree planting has the potential to be a fantastic thing. It's so difficult to apply mathematical models to a tree that's going to be affected by so many different environmental factors. 1 hectare of woodland locks up X amount of carbon. That doesn't stack up. So different tree species have different species characteristics. Some will grow fast, some will grow big. If we're talking about drawdown, you would want to plant very fast growing trees that create a huge amount of biomass, so lock up a huge amount of carbon. So for example, poplar, very vigorous tree. A forest of poplar is going to lock up so much more carbon than the forest of oak. But in 40 years, that's the lifespan of poplar, that woodland's finished. The oak woodland's only just starting. An oak woodland can last for 500 years. How can we say that those two totally different woodland elements are locking up the same amount of carbon? We can't. The maths don't work. I think I need to grow these figures and show a sort of demonstration site, a field lab, which is going to provide the opportunity for measurements to be taken. Offsetting has massive potential, but we need to actually look at this practically, how we're going to deliver it, and be a bit more honest about what the true costs are. And what I want to show is actually small compartments, strategically planned around buffers and boundaries, or maybe the lower quality bits of land can be the focus of really intensive planting. We need to start looking at square meters of environmental enhancements, so we can actually make a difference on smaller scales. Typically, the stocking density of a hectare, which is 2.5 acres, is 2,000 trees a hectare. That's your typical sort of forestry spec. Now, I've planted 12,000 trees in 1 acre. So I've planted at a density 2,000% higher than the standard. I'm completely challenging the status quo at the moment. The planting I've carried out this winter would not qualify for any grant funding structures that are available in this country. I do feel that the grant funding structures we have in place have actually led to a very cynical way of planting trees, and I'm often approached in my business by people saying, we really want to plant trees, are there any grants? So they're saying to me they want to plant trees, but they do not want to spend any money because they just see it as a negative cost. What I'm trying to do is to show that actually trees can be used as a financially viable cropping resource, which not only will help us economically, it will support biodiversity, it will cause carbon drawdown, and importantly, it's going to create jobs in the rural sector. I'm just trying to show people a different way. And trees are great, but they need to be invested in. And if you invest in them as assets, you're going to get huge, multiple returns.